Hey, good evening, everybody. It's pretty late where I am, so I'm trying to keep my voice low. Hopefully, that's okay with you guys and you can still hear me. Um, I am really excited to be able to hang out with you guys right now, mostly because I don't know. I feel like the last time we were together, I was a little uptight, wasn't I? I was a little uptight. And I feel a bit unwound right now. I got my kombucha and I'm feeling pretty relaxed and just like really desiring to connect and to have free flow of thoughts and see how you all are feeling out there. So we can go ahead and get started. For this episode, if we can call it that, I want to talk about the Newtonian law of physics that states that body in motion stays in motion. And the reason I want to talk about that is because this week I was at work and I caught one of my coworkers carrying a bunch of things down the hallway wearing a boot on their foot. And being that I carry this title of a nurse, I felt myself immediately wanting to perform my role and just offer, some assistance if she wanted it. Because, seeing somebody with a boot on, you just render them kind of like powerless, right? And so I projected that onto her and was just like, oh my God, you damsel in distress. Like, how can I care for you? And she refused the help and was like, no, I'm good. I don't need it. A body in motion stays in motion. And I had either like assumed that she would have said yes. And so when she said no, I kind of just erased like the relevance of the whole moment and just kind of continued on with my like journey to my office. And then it took me a second to really take in what she had responded with. And like 30 seconds later, I'm like, exactly. Just the awareness of that universal law as affirmation is a medicine to the body because it commands the cells to operate at an optimal level based off of the intention that it can and should and must achieve that. And our cells respond to many different means of communication that is either being stimulated from our environment or from us personally. And in that moment, our thoughts and our mentality when it comes to healing really does play a huge role in our overall ability to achieve the wellness we seek on a trajectory that may not be perfect along the way, but is at least with stressors that we can conceive helpful coping mechanisms to resolve. So just having confidence in yourself is a helpful coping mechanism, and you will be able to utilize that in many different ways, whether it's how you're paying attention to your patterns of thoughts and how you're speaking to yourself, that self-talk, or if it's related to how you perform, or the dynamics that you entertain in relationship to others, how you allow yourself to be empowered in those moments, or do you yield in a way that lends your power outside of yourself and renders you helpless? Like, these are things that we have to like think about. Sorry for my posture. I'm trying to like fit in the frame, but I'm also just like slouching by doing that. But that was it. That's what I wanted to talk about just initially, because I feel like a lot of stagnancy has prevented us from being able to find ways to move forward in our day-to-day because of this pandemic, like at no fault to our own, just because we're being forced to be still. And so when we're not being active with that, that rest, that being at rest can turn into a restlessness and an anxiety. And so as we are starting to open up, on a very literal level, as states are beginning to open up, as these different pandemic restrictions are starting to loosen up, we ourselves are starting to figure out ways to open up again and connect with one another. Yes, so as we decide how we're going to protect ourselves because of the things we've just experienced moving forward, how does that change the different relationships that we currently have, and who we want to have around, and how we want to have them around, and how we articulate that, and how we hold space for ourselves and others in that. So hopefully, using these technologies, we can keep putting that into practice. And utilizing like the concept of like narrative medicine and storytelling and sharing our different experiences earnestly and without judgment, as a way to strengthen these more intangible unions that we have cultivated on so many different levels, right? Because like that connectivity allows for more passageways to build, for knowledge to travel through on a global scale, and that prevents friction and tension and pressures from arising without being able to humanize those who are experiencing those adversities, so that we can move forward, allow it to pass through and flow through us, and yield the results that are going to allow us to evolve in a progressive manner, in a life-affirming manner. I feel like that's definitely something I've taken from this pandemic, this moment, the people around me, the things that they're experiencing and willing to share with me and others. And I want to continue to like move forward in my different relationships with that in mind, and really like, take advantage of the opportunities that are ahead of all of us, and what we can share with one another. All right. I hope you guys have a good evening and get some rest. And whenever you're watching this, we'll talk soon. All right.